This is Ryan Elliott for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. I'd like to be joined by Alycia Baumgardner here in Sheffield. Alycia, welcome to England. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. Let's talk about this. You got yourself a world title shot. How much notice have you had? When did you find out this was a serious possibility?
Since the beginning, I knew that just in my career, preparing for a moment like this was going to come about. You just had to be patient and, work through the process.
This is the first time we've had you on, so let's go back then. What got you into the boxing gym in the first place? What lured you in?
Yeah, so I first started off wrestling, right, at 5. And so after wrestling, my dad introduced boxing to me at the age of 8. And so started going to the gym, and I fell in love with the sport, a born athlete, and just a competition challenges me, and I love it.
You think it was the solo aspect that stuck with boxing, knowing that it's not a team sport, it's all on you, however much you put in, you'll get out of it? Think that's what appealed to you early on?
What appealed to me was just what I am able to do as a woman, being in a male-dominated sport, and just the challenge that I bring to myself and what I want to bring out of. It's all about growth.
You mentioned that you've flown in from Detroit. Growing up in Detroit, what was it like? What was your childhood and your upbringing like?
Yeah, so originally from Ohio, Fremont, Ohio. Fremont is a very small town. And, not a lot of opportunities. So when you do get an opportunity to kind of step out, I took advantage of that, and just having a small boxing gym in my hometown is where I started, and that opened all the doors up and, transitioned into moving to Detroit in my later years of boxing.
Now, Alycia, in the last few years, the female side of boxing has really, really grown. We're seeing big fights all the time. You're going to be in one on Saturday night. How much have you seen it grow from your perspective, and even just the time you've been a professional?
Yeah, it's grown so much, just to see the growth in that, and also what Eddie Hearn is doing with the sport. He's able to push the women into the spotlight, and it's amazing to see. Like, I love being a part of the sport, and just where I'm at right now, I'm like right at my prime to really step into that spotlight and to really showcase women's boxing. So it's great.
Let's talk about Terri Harper then. You'll be challenging her for her world titles this weekend. What do you make of her as a fighter? I'm sure you've seen plenty of her.
Terri, she's a tough opponent. She's, she's a world champion for a reason, so I give her respects for that. But she has not been in the ring with somebody like me. Just the athleticism that I bring, the power, the skill, the technical things. I have the full package, and so she hasn't dealt with that yet.
When you were kind of first getting going in boxing, you're starting to watch boxing, who were your inspirations in the sport?
Yeah, so Mike Tyson is one of my biggest inspirations. Just his demeanor when he's in the ring, his strength that he carries, even his story that brought him to where he was in his career. Like, it just means a lot. Boxing is one of those sports where when you don't have anything, this is all you have, and that was the case for me. And there is no plan B. Boxing is everything.
In terms of Saturday, when you're in there with Terri Harper, do you feel you have the power potentially to stop her if the opportunity arises?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I'm a big puncher, but I'm also technical, so everything will be set up off the jab. If you watch Canelo and Caleb Plant, just understand that those hooks that Canelo was throwing is something similar to what I'll be doing Saturday night.
Now, also in your country, we saw Michaela Mayer not too long ago becoming unified champion at super featherweight. I'm sure you watched the fight. What do you make of it?
That was a great fight. I think it was a great fight for women's boxing. It was a great fight for the 130 division. The 130 division, again, is packed with talent. And we're just weaving out who's the best, who's the top dog at 130.
If you walk away and go back to America with a world title this weekend, how big is that potential fight in the US between you and Michaela Mayer?
Oh, it's huge. I think that we haven't been able to have a USA fight like that, Mayer and Baumgardner. I know they want to say Terri and Mayer, but that's not it. It's Baumgardner and Mayer, and I think that the USA needs that fight.
Alycia, I'm going to leave the final word to you. I'm sure you had lots of lovely messages from people that know you and people at home. What would you like to say to them ahead of Saturday night?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been believing in me since the beginning and just following my career. I appreciate the extra motivation, and the sport of boxing is what I love, and so love it with me.
Alycia, thank you very much for speaking to Boxing Social.
Thank you.